Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Hey guys, got a couple things we want to do in an odds and ends video for you today. I've got an event we're coming up this weekend. I want to make sure people know about and get you out invited to. We got a few viewer mail items, a few little viewer gifts, as well as some pretty cool purchases for the shop that we've come up here in the last week or two. So first off, let me just say this past week, I was out at FabTech up in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Had a great time. Jim Bollinger and myself were over in the Osborne Abrasives booth. I had my little steam engine on display. Jim had his Cannon that he built on display. It was a lot of fun. Saw a whole lot of my viewers. Goodness gracious, I guess we were at a place where people that like watching this kind of stuff was at, but it was really amazing the number of people that ran into up there, stopped by, said hello, and got to shake some hands and so forth. Really enjoyed that as always. Going off to these events is kind of a big perk of what I get to do because it is fun to sit there and talk with you guys, my viewers. And we got another opportunity for something similar to that coming up this coming weekend on Saturday, November 17th, 2018, out in Lindale, Texas. And that's going to be the Good of the Land Fest, which is going to be hosted by the Old Mill Pond Museum. And I've never been to this place. I'm really kind of looking forward to it because I think it's a lot like our museum that I volunteer here at, the Georgia Museum of Agriculture. So I think it's a little bit smaller scale, but they have, you know, kind of a historic village type place set up with lots of cool things to see. And I'm really looking forward to getting out there and seeing it. There are going to be a lot of YouTubers coming in from all over in a lot of different disciplines, not just metalworking, but I got a list here of some ones that I know that are coming. It includes the Stan Zinkowski over at Barzy Industrial, Adam Booth, A-Bomb 79, Dale Derry, Build Something Cool, or then Mike Wiggins, Backyard Machine Shop. Jim Bollinger, he's going to be coming in. I think he's going to be doing a TIG welding demonstration. Tom Zeckelman, Joe Pinskowski, Jason Marburger over at Fireball Tools, makes some really cool squares and stuff, and really a lot of other neat things too. I saw Jason at FabTech, and he gave me a preview of some of their newer tools they got coming out, which were really impressive. Doug Jackson, SV Seeker. Never met Doug before, so if you never watched any of his stuff, he's building a big ship, I guess you could say, or a big boat, I guess might be a better word, better term, but anyway, pretty cool. Stephen Cox, there's going to be some blacksmithing, there's going to be some woodworking, there's going to be potter wheel, there's going to be lots of cool things going on. So if you have a chance, or if you're in the area, or if you want to make a road trip, I encourage you to come on out to Lindale, Texas this coming Saturday, November 17th, 2018, if you're watching this down the road. And I'm really looking forward. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Admission, I think, is $10 per person, and pretty much going to be going on all day on Saturday. So hope to see some of you guys out there. And with that, we're going to jump in here. I've got some viewer mail that has come in. Like I said, a couple of items. We'll show you what's new to the shop. So first thing up here, very nice little piece of viewer gift here. This comes from Phil Verzella, and Phil contacted me a little while back, and he was going to be coming down to FabTech. Had this compressor head. He knew that I had picked up that air compressor last year. Got a good tank. The head on the one I had was really messed up bad. Slung a rod in it and really screwed it up. So I've been kind of on the lookout for a compressor head I can put on that to get a better air compressor set up here in the shop. And Phil I can't remember the exact story on this one, but this is one that he ended up with. It was an extra head, didn't have a tank or anything with it, but was willing to pass it along. And he says it does work. So it should be plug and play. Now I got the flywheel off right now, but he's got all that included here. So this is a Quincy compressor head. It's a model 216 3x2.5. It is a single stage. You know, the head that was on the old compressor that had slung a rod was a two-stage compressor. But you know what, guys, this right here should get me in the air business, which is my main focus right now. And it looks like a good compressor head. Looks like it's ready to go for the most part. So I'll probably do a little bit of maintenance to it, try to get it on my tank, and I'm going to have to do some electrical stuff and get all that stuff figured out, but hopefully we can have some air coming out here pretty soon. So Phil, thanks for thinking of me on this. Thanks for bringing it down to FabTech. I was able to meet up with him. We had a little YouTube party on Monday night. A lot of people came in early and had JD up there had a little shop party at his place, and anyway, I met him there. We were able to put it over in my truck and brought it back home with me. So again, thank you very much, Phil. Enjoyed meeting you both over at the shop party as well as at FabTech, and thank you very much. Next item here comes from Tom Danino. And Tom, if you remember, we did a little project for him a while back where we made some parts for Reed Weiss. And in the process of doing that, I needed some metric taps, and I didn't have any. And anyway, I got some. I made the comment I didn't have any. He wanted to kind of set me up as a thank you for helping him out. And he sent me some metric drill bits a while back. I got a little case to put my metric taps in, and he wanted to make sure I was well set up with taps, so he got me some brand spanking new Greenfield tap and die. These are all metric taps in various sizes, and these are the real nice ones. I love Greenfield taps, by the way. These guys make a quality product. They've been around a long time. Greenfield tap and die, and if I'm buying new taps, I try to look for their stuff because I know it's quality. I know it's going to last. And what he got is the 3 taps set in these, and if you're not familiar with taps, there's basically this first one here has a long taper. The threads start real gradual. This is for starting a hole, and then you got the next one here that has kind of starting at the bottom, but it quickly goes to the full size. This is for kind of finishing a through hole. So if you got a through hole, you need a tap or kind of a secondary tap to run down in there. And then the last one here is a bottoming tap. So if you're going to a hole that doesn't go all the way through, this one will get you a good thread all the way to the bottom. And if you do this one, a lot of times you actually use all 3 taps to kind of get to this one. If you're just going through a hole, you'll stop at this one a lot of times. But anyway, nice little set here. I'm gonna go put these in my case over here with all my taps, put them in the proper drawers so I can have them when I need them. And Tom, thank you very much. I'm now in the metric tap business if I need them down the road, and I'm sure I will. So thanks, Tom. Next item here is pretty cool. It comes from David Baker, who lives up in Rockwood, Tennessee, and David actually sent along some little drawing and some instructions on how to use these. But what you're looking at here, these are some gauge blocks, and I've got some gauge blocks, but I don't have any in this style. This is kind of a neat setup here, where you got these square gauge pins, and they have the hole through it. And what it allows you to do is to make some really cool little stacks for doing precision measuring with. So gauge blocks, if you're not familiar, they are ground and lapped to a very precise measurement, and these are all marked with what that measurement is on them, what have you. And you can create, if you want to do very precision measurements for comparison, you can create stacks of these. You just add them together, whatever, to get whatever measurements you want. But what we got here is, in addition to the blocks themselves, we got some little end caps that you can use with these. So you create your stack that you want. And I'm just going to lay them down here on the surface plate. We'll just kind of come up with a stack like this. We got these end caps here that go on the end, and he's got this cool little piece here that you got where you can set this for different, lengths or what have you. And we'll just go with that right there. I'm going to feed that rod up through here. Out the other end. Well, I'll just put a few more in here. How about that? There we go. There's a screw on the other end. You tighten the screw in there, and now you've got a nice stack that you can just carry around with you to a machine when you're doing something set up. So let me tighten that up real quick. All right, so with these end caps on here, now I can use this with an indicator. If I'm let's say I'm boring a hole and I want to have a very precision measurement in here, I can start boring whatever, put an indicator, sweep it on my bore, and then sweep it on here to compare it, and it will tell me a very precision how much farther I need to go to get my bore to the right size for it. And that's the example that he gave me here. There are lots of applications you can use this for. Now, you know, if you didn't want to have the end caps on here, you just wanted to have a stack as a reference, you could still use that little piece in between, but not put the end caps on there, and then you'd have a stack that you could just take over and have a very precise measurement on it as a comparison. So anyway, pretty cool. I don't have any gauge blocks of this style, or haven't had any, and I think that's pretty handy. So we're going to put this over with my other gauge blocks. I'm not sure exactly what all individual blocks he sent me. And I know that you can get sets of these that have every single possible combination imaginable, but this will be a good starter set to start using for sure. And David, thanks for sending those along, and now I'm probably going to have to be on the search out for more of this style of gauge blocks so I can have them, because I think this is going to be a pretty neat little handy trick to use out here in the shop. Next item here, really nice item that came from Rod Henry, and Rod contacted me a while back, said he had something he wanted to send my way, which is this extremely nice Mitutoyo height gauge. Pull that cover off, and let's put our height marker on here. There we go. So this is a really nice piece here. Basically, there's a dial on the back, and there's a dial indicator on the front. You can go down to your plate, and look at there, it's pretty darn close to zero right there. I'll just adjust that a little bit, and you can zero out the things over here. If you want to go to a certain measurement now, you can just rise it up. Now it's going to give you your tenths of an inch, your inches, and your tenths of an inches over here, and then you can read your thousandths of an inch on the piece on the dial. So you know, we wanted to go up to where are we at? Let's just go up to 4 inches right there. That should be exactly 4 inches. And now, if you're marking a scribe or something, you could come in here on your part, scribe a line exactly at 4 inches, etc. So this is an extremely nice piece. I've got a couple of height gauges, but all the ones I have the vernier scale on it. This one here is extremely easy to read with that nice dial in here and everything, and the thing is just in immaculate condition. I believe that he told me that he bought a bunch of tools from a guy who used to be a tool and die maker. In fact, it's got his name on here. Tom Moore was the person who owned all this stuff, and this is something he just couldn't use and was kind enough to offer to just send it on down to me, which I greatly appreciate. This is definitely get used. This is something that it will be really nice. You can also put an indicator on here and be able to indicate off of things. So if you just need a height gauge to come up to indicate like the top of something, makes a real nice surface for that, not so much for measuring in that situation. And potentially it might even be used for checking for something for square. I would need to get my granite angle over here and sweep up and down, but I don't think you can adjust it for squareness, so that might not be the best option there. There's no, usually on one that you can use for setting perfectly square, you're going to have some type of adjustment to adjust that arm in and out, to fine tune it, to calibrate it, but nonetheless, that's not what it's for. It's not a square testing gauge, it's the height gauge, and for that it's going to be perfect. So anyway, thank you very much. Very nice addition to the shop. Really glad to have this in here, and it comes in a nice wooden case as well. I'm really excited about these. I've been looking for some cabinets like this for some time to put just miscellaneous stuff in. Actually, I've been really looking for this cabinet right here, and this one here is a Stanley Vidmar, but you got the big drawers in here. These are fairly deep drawers, and I've been looking for one of this particular style to put horizontal milling machine tooling in, to get everything in one place. Probably put some of my bigger end mills and stuff like that, but basically milling machine tooling. I've been looking for a nice big heavy duty Lista type cabinet. Again, this is a Stanley Vidmar, still very good quality. I've been pricing them. They've been hard to find. Honestly, a used one like this right here, I was doing good to find one online for anywhere less than $600 or $700. And that's pretty rare. I mean, a lot of them are well over $1,000, even for a used one. And I was actually about to buy one. I had found one that was about 5 hours away that I was going to drive to. It was going to cost me, I think, $750. I just was like, man, there's got to be a better deal out there. Well, literally days before I was getting ready to go make the trip to go get this, I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, where you can list things to buy and sell, and someone only about an hour from me listed all 3 of these cabinets. They'd actually listed them a month or so ago, and they had a pretty hefty price tag on them. Well, when they had relisted them, they had significantly dropped the price. It was close enough to where I was just like, okay, I'm intrigued, so I'm gonna make a trip down there and go look at them. So we made a trip down there, looked at them. They're definitely used. They're not in pristine condition. There are a few little minor issues, but the bottom line is all the drawers open and close. Everything looks good. And we worked out a deal. I paid $1,000 for the 3 cabinets, which I think was a pretty good deal, at least in my area, and only had to go an hour to get them. So these are going to be destined. I'm going to clean them up real good. I'm going to probably go ahead and repaint them, try to, take care of any dents and stuff. There are a few little places on them. The biggest thing that I got to really figure out is some knucklehead decided to put casters on these things, which is fine. I like having casters on them. But they welded the casters in place. And can we say bubblegum welds? I mean, these things, they look terrible. I don't know how in the world a person didn't know how to weld, whoever put them on there. And the casters are so old now that they really don't roll that good and probably need to be replaced. So I'm going to have to figure out how to deal with that. I'm probably going to have to grind them off, do some repair work down there on the bottom where they welded all that stuff in there, because there are places I can tell where they didn't only weld it, they like burnt holes through the material because they weren't using the right kind of setup. Anyway, rant off. But we're going to be refurbing these cabinets, getting them set up. Before I put anything in them, I'm really tempted. I want to start piling them up, but before I do, I am going to take them basically apart, clean them up, repaint them, and get them looking a little bit more presentable. And we're going to use them. I was only planning on getting one. These 2 here are kind of bonuses for me, and I'm really excited about these because these are mostly shallow drawers, which are great for just putting all kinds of smaller stuff in. I've got drawers full of parts, nuts, bolts, washers, specialty hardware, tooling that's all small, and getting it where it's organized and in one place is going to really be a big help out here. And I'm going to actually be able to eliminate, I think, about half of the stuff that's over here on my shelving and get it put in these cabinets where it's easier to get to, and that's going to free up some more storage space over there on my shelving units. For other stuff. So anyway, I'm real happy with this. So the one on the ends is Stanley Vidmar. They're all different. This one is a Lista, and this one is a Lion cabinet. So all 3 different brands, different makes. The person that I got them from said that they had them where he worked at, and they were getting rid of them. They had gotten some, I think they were changing out some equipment, and they are a line, and they had stuff in these for a particular line that they had, and as they were retooling for the new stuff, they got new cabinets that better suited their needs. He was able to purchase them from his company. He brought them home with him several years ago, and now he's getting ready to retire and wanting to travel and trying to clean stuff out so that he can get in his travel home and go out elsewhere. So anyway, worked out a great deal on these, I think. There you go. That's going to be a wrap on this episode. Hoping to see some of you guys out in Lindale, Texas this coming week. Looking forward to the Good Land Fest. It's going to be a lot of fun. And with that, we're going to wrap this one up. Thanks again for watching. As always, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll talk to you next time around. Thanks.